How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jeff with iDownload Blog. Let's talk about BattSaver. It is a new jailbreak app that allows you to save battery life by managing your wireless radios. I'm going to show you how this works here in this video. Now, it may be a little lengthy just because this app is so deep. There's so much to talk about. Now, in my network settings, you see where I have my cellular connection and I have my Wi-Fi connection. So just keep those in mind. Those are some things we're going to talk about. Now, let's turn off the device and wait a second and see what happens to those wireless radios that we just referenced, the cellular connection and the Wi-Fi connection. So I'm going to give it a few seconds to just simmer for a bit. And I'm on my black screen courtesy of my power button, the sleep button. Now I'm going to wake it up. Okay, you see the Wi-Fi is still on. It never went off. And if we slide to unlock, you'll see that everything is still a-okay. So the cellular connection is still there, the Wi-Fi connection is still there, and that's because we have our saving strategy in BattSaver set to none. So basically it's just completely disabled. I'm gonna show you that right now. So once you install BattSaver, you'll get this little app icon on your home screen, looks like a bat, which makes sense. And there's your saving strategies. We'll actually come back to that in a little bit. First of all, let's go back to the main page of the app for BattSaver, and let's talk about some of these various sections here. First of all, view graphs. Now, this provides a graph that depicts your battery life, and that way you can kind of see how much battery that BattSaver is actually saving you. And you have some settings here for the graph as well. You have capacity, you have the temperature, you can even set a statistics range. So if you want to show the lifetime of your battery, you can set it to all, or you can set it for the last hour, depending on what you're looking for, what you want to analyze from a graphical standpoint. And there are other settings in there as well. Now, if you're monitoring your graph and you want to get the latest statistics, you just pull down and refresh. And also, I should note that the time range at the bottom will change depending on what you have set in your settings for that particular graph. It's really nice. Now let's talk about last battery state. Here you can get all sorts of ridiculously in-depth information on your battery. Is the battery installed? Well, I hope so. Yes, in this case, you have your charge cycle count, you have your current capacity, your max capacity, design capacity, instant amperage, temperature, time remaining, measured on. So you get all these ridiculously in-depth statistics. Voltage is charging at critical level. What else is there? At warning level. What else we have there? AC connected. So it really does tell you some verbose information about your battery, so you can get as much detail on that as possible. It's great for troubleshooting issues. And yeah, you can pull the refresh on here as well. So let's go back to our previous page, the main page of BattSaver. Okay, and then you have settings. Now in settings, it's a little interesting. You can purge your graph data or you can change your saving strategy. But what's interesting about this, if you go back, you can actually go directly to your saving strategy there. So you can access saving strategy both from settings and directly from the main page of the app. Now the saving strategies is the most important portion of the app. It really is what makes up BattSaver. So you have 5 different options here. You have none, which is currently selected. Then you have normal, which will disable the radios with the device. So when you power it down, it'll disable those radios and wake them back up when you power back up. You have aggressive, which will disable the data connection if Wi-Fi is connected, potentially saving you more battery. Then you have ultimate, which will completely disable everything and you have to re-enable everything manually to get it working. And last but not least, you have, of course, custom, which allows you to mix and match any of these features and add your own little twist to BattSaver's saving strategy. First of all, let's talk about normal. If you select the normal saving strategy, what should happen, in theory, is that when you put your device to sleep, it should disable the radios. And when you wake up your device, it should re-enable those radios automatically. So I've put my device to sleep using the sleep button at the top of the iPhone, and just give it a few seconds. There's usually a threshold involved, and you can customize that threshold if you choose the custom saving strategy. We'll talk about that a little later. So I think enough time has passed now. Let's wake up our device. You'll see that the Wi-Fi radio is disabled in the status bar. You see everything's disabled. That's how it should work. All right. So give it a few seconds and things should start waking back up. You see 3G woke back up, Wi-Fi woke back up. Interestingly enough, though, cellular data didn't wake up. And after some detailed testing, I noticed that this was just a glitch, so to speak, with the network screen. When I wasn't actually on the network screen, everything worked just fine, cellular data re-enabled, etc. Now let's set it to aggressive mode. Now this will actually disable the cellular connection once it recognizes that you have a Wi-Fi connection enabled. So to test this out, of course, I'm going to have my cellular data enabled. And then let's just actually go back out and come back in. The network screen has been causing me some issues. And then let's go down to Wi-Fi. First of all, let's just go ahead and disable that just to set it up and go back out. Okay, you see the cellular is still enabled. Now let's go ahead and enable the Wi-Fi connection and notice what happens with the cellular connection. Now, this may not update the network screen, so what I'm going to probably have to do is go back out to the general screen and then come back in to the network screen and see if the changes took effect. And there you go, cellular data is disabled just like that. Now, what happens if I disable the Wi-Fi connection? Will cellular data come back on? Well, let's find out here. I'm going to disable the Wi-Fi connection and go back out and see what happens with my cellular connection. And again, I may need to refresh this network screen because it doesn't like updating. So let's go back out to general and then go back into network and see what we find. Yes, the cellular data is re-enabled, and that all happened because of BattSaver. The setting that we had was aggressive for our saving strategy, just like that. So it worked just as expected, although that network screen can give you some problems, so just beware of that. Now, Ultimate is the final preset contained within BattSaver, and just like the others, it too will disable your radios once you put your iPhone to sleep. But the difference here is that it will not automatically re-enable those radios. So you have to actually go in and re-enable those manually if you want, to connect to the internet, or if you want to make a phone call or things like that. So as you can see here on the network screen, everything continues to stay disabled. So what I need to do is go in one by one and manually re-enable each of the radios just like that. Now, the final option contained within the saving strategies page is perhaps the most awesome feature, the custom settings. This allows you to mix and match various settings from those previous presets into your own custom saving strategy. This is pretty awesome, and it's especially great for those of you who like to tinker and get some really fine-grained control over your radios. So let's look at a few of these here. For instance, this one, turn on radios in background. This one's a really neat one because it'll actually wake up your radios at a certain interval. You can actually set that interval using this option here. So for instance, you can set it for every 30 minutes, and every 30 minutes it'll wake up your radios, and then any new email or messages you have will come in. Now here's another setting I like, delay before radios on off. So this will allow you to change the threshold before your radios turn on or off. You can change the time threshold. Now there are other settings as well, manage critical battery level. So you can turn on ultimate mode, which we covered earlier, if your battery goes below 15%. So that'll help you save some additional battery life, give you a little more time on your device. Now here's another important section, radios management. So you can turn on things like Bluetooth, for instance, to work with BattSaver. That is really cool. And don't forget to periodically check your graph each day just to see how much battery you're actually saving and get a good idea as to what BattSave is doing for you. How is it working for you? I'm really interested. If you guys tried this, if you decide to try out BattSaver, then definitely let me know how you fared. How was your battery impacted? Was it impacted for the better? Now, although I'm a bit skeptical about the app's claims to have 2 times better battery life, I don't think you could get worse battery life with BattSaver. I think it's definitely going to save you some battery just because of the way it manages the radios. It may not give you 2x times the battery life or more than that, but it probably will get you some more usage out of the battery. And anything, even 10% more, is a good thing. For $2.99, that can't be beat. It's a great interface. The way you set it up is very intuitive, and it works very well. Now, granted, I did have some issues with the screens not refreshing on my network screen and things like that, and I ran into a few issues here and there, but for the most part, I'd have to give a strong recommendation to BattSaver just because of the potential that it could save you even 5 or 10% on your battery. That alone is worth $3. If you multiply that or quantify that over the time that you own your device, then I don't think you can go wrong here. What about you? What do you think? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. This is Jeff with iDownloadBlog.